Episode 121, Little Carrot. "Have a seat. What will you drink? Beer?" Kyle asked Jacob like a good host. Sure," Jacob replied. Then, Kyle picked up a bottle of beer from the corner and cracked it open. "You want some, Kay?" He turned to Kathy to ask. "Just a little bit for me." Picking up a mug, Kathy said, as Kyle poured a full mug for Jacob. Kyle didn't want to force her, so he only poured a little for her. He threw the beer bottle in the trash after pouring the rest of it for himself. Jacob didn't feel comfortable turning Kyle down since this man was too intimidating and was Kathy's brother. He took the mug and had a sip. "I have figured out the things that happened before." Kyle raised his mug. "I apologize for the previous misunderstanding. I hope we can turn over a new leaf with this meal." Jacob picked up his mug and lightly collided with Kyle's. "Don't worry, it's not a big deal. Cheers." "Yeah, and I was thinking..." Kyle got to the point immediately. "Those idiots on the team always cause trouble, so I'm not planning to let them play the match this time. Instead, I dismissed them so that they could learn their lesson." Jacob felt like he hadn't finished yet and waited for him to continue. As expected, Kyle kept talking. "However, those guys have no specialty other than playing basketball. It would be the end of their careers if they couldn't play basketball anymore. Therefore, I will take them back once the match next week is over. What do you think of that?" Receiving no response from Jacob, Kyle continued. "They have promised me that they will distance themselves from that bastard Michael and only concentrate on playing basketball. They won't meddle with anything else." Seeing how sincere the man was, Jacob had no reason to stop him. "If that's the case, then I think you should ask them to come back," he replied. "However," he added immediately, "Sam has to be the lead player. That can't change." "Sam's performance is pretty good so far, but whether he can take the lead depends on his match next week." Kyle took a sip of his beer. "As you might have noticed, his height could be a barrier for him. But if he can turn this flaw into an advantage, he will still have a chance at being the core of the team. Moreover, if he ever shows the character of a leader, I can give him the captain position after me." Kyle's words definitely set Jacob's mind at rest. The visit today didn't end up being a waste because of the promises Kyle made. While listening to their discussion about basketball, Kathy was simply sitting beside them, sipping her beer. Kyle was enjoying his meal and beer while talking about basketball. All of a sudden, he switched the topic. "Now we have to talk about Kay here." He looked at Jacob and said, "I have nothing against you if you want to date her, but there are a few things I would like you to know." Kathy, who was having her meal and sipping her beer, suddenly raised her head in shock. She hurried to interrupt Kyle. "Kyle, what are you talking about?" "I didn't say anything." Pretending to be innocent, Kyle looked at Kathy naively. "This is what you call nothing?" Kathy frowned dangerously. "Hey, you were the one telling me there was a nice guy named Jacob in your class," Kyle said purposely. Kathy's face turned as red as a ripe apple. She stared at Kyle for a moment before turning to Jacob and hurriedly saying, "Don't listen to his nonsense." But Kyle continued, "Don't tell me that you haven't forgotten that kid from your childhood." "Okay, now you've gone too far." Kathy stood up suddenly, dragged Jacob off his seat, opened the security door, and rushed out. "Kay!" Kyle shouted from the room. "You can drink by yourself." Dragging Jacob to the stairs, Kathy slammed the security door with a huge bang. Jacob didn't think things would end up like this. Till now, he thought that Kyle was just messing with Kathy to annoy her, but he didn't expect Kathy to actually get so mad. Walking out of the building, Kathy slowly calmed down. She turned around to Jacob and asked, "You didn't forget anything in there, did you?" "No." Jacob shook his head before looking up at the apartment. "What just happened in there?" He drank too much. You don't have to worry about him. Kathy was enraged. Afterward, Kathy looked at the sky and said, "It's getting late. Maybe you should go home now. I can walk you to the bus stop." "Okay," Jacob nodded. He didn't know what else to say at the moment. Therefore, Kathy walked out of the old neighborhood with him. Facing the bright setting sun, they headed to the bus stop. During the walk, Kathy suddenly said, "Please don't take what Kyle said today seriously. We are classmates, and we have also become good friends recently. He just made stupid assumptions about our relationship." "Yeah, I know," Jacob answered while walking and looking at the tips of his own shoes. "To be honest with you, I already have someone I like," Kathy said, unexpectedly, after thinking for a while. Jacob's steps paused for a moment. He had always wondered about Kathy's love life, as she was always so closed off. He never expected her to confide in him about it. "But I guess it is just unrequited love. Will you laugh at me?" Kathy asked. No, why would I laugh?" Jacob waved her concern off. Then, out of pure curiosity, he asked, "So this guy, who is he?" "He doesn't live in the state anymore, but I believe he will come back in the future," Kathy said. The reason Kathy studies so hard is probably to keep up with the person she likes, Jacob wondered. The conversation stopped abruptly. Jacob didn't ask about anything else, and Kathy didn't say anything either. Soon, Kathy watched Jacob get on the bus. Then she waved at him and left. Jacob, who was sitting on the bus and staring at Kathy's lonely shadow, kept wondering about the guy that Kathy was waiting for. The bus drove slowly. Jacob leaned against the bus window and fell asleep unconsciously. He walked to his room and went to sleep as soon as he got back to his home on the beach. On the weekend, he hired someone to install a simple basketball stand in the backyard, and he then spent all his energy playing basketball. "Is Jacob all right? He has been playing basketball so hard these days," Grandma asked Mila with great concern as they looked at the backyard from the room on the second floor. "Don't worry, Mom. There's a basketball match next week, and that's why he's practicing so hard," Mila replied with a smile on her face. "I didn't know that Jacob knew how to play basketball." Grandma started smiling. "Can I go watch the match next week?" "Mom, you know nothing about basketball." "Who said that? At least I'll know when Jacob scores," Grandma said stubbornly. "Fine, I'll take you to the game next week." Mila had no other choice but to nod in agreement. Grandma was the boss of the family. Nobody would ever go against her wishes. Time went by fast. Soon, it was Monday again. Jacob was driven to the university by Mila while bringing a huge bag of snacks prepared by his grandma. "Jacob, the match is on Thursday evening, right?" Mila asked while she was driving. "Yes, it'll start at 7. Are you sure you want to come?" Jacob asked. "Not only me, but your grandma, too. I called your dad yesterday and ordered him to come back early to watch your match with us," Mila said with pride. In Jacob's mind, he was wondering if he might have dragged too many people to the match, since he wasn't even the lead player. However, he had to play hard and seriously in the match, since even his grandma, who knew nothing about basketball, was coming to watch him play. "You have to go to Soph's home to help her with homework tonight, don't you?" Mila asked again. "Yes, what's wrong?" "Nothing, really. It's just that your grandma wants to call her family over for dinner, since they called us," Mila explained. "Okay, I'll ask them." Jacob nodded. Jacob knew that his grandma always wanted to have a granddaughter, and the appearance of Soph made her wish come true. It was only 6 when he got to the university. There was still time for Mila to drive back to work. Jacob walked in through the area outside the campus while carrying a huge bag of snacks. Then, he walked towards his dorm. Suddenly, the phone in his pocket started to vibrate. Who's calling so early? He thought. Jacob took out the phone and saw his dad's number on the screen. Hello. Jacob picked up the call, wondering why his dad called since he was in another state for a conference at the moment. Jacob! Walter's voice was full of excitement. Based on past experience, he would only have this kind of voice when he had just had a breakthrough in tough scientific research. Hey, Dad, Jacob replied. Guess who I met today? Walter asked excitedly. Who? Jacob asked languidly. Little Carrot's dad. Do you still remember Little Carrot? Walter was incredibly excited.